Who's up for a people mover? If you've got more than 5 children, you'll probably need one. And if you're always moving large, bulky items, that's another good reason to get one. But which is best? Today, we're comparing 2 standouts. The Kia Carnival Platinum, which is the top of the range Carnival and costs around 65 grand before on-road costs and extras, and the Volkswagen Multivan Comfortline Premium, which is second from the bottom of the range and costs almost $62,000 before on-road costs and extras. The Carnival seats 8 people while the Multivan seats 7. They're both technically vans. They're both huge inside, but which is the better vehicle to suit your needs? Let's get into it so you can decide. How do the two compare on design and style? The Kia Carnival is slowly edging into SUV territory, while the Volkswagen Multivan remains true to its roots and a staunchly proud van shape. Let's look at them in more detail. Carnival first.
This design is a step up from the last model with black wheels, a new grille and a brand new shape that is looking more and more SUV-like with a longer nose and a wider body. There are really dark black tinted windows and a flashy textured metallic bit along here. The whole effect is that it looks much more car, much less people mover. Inside has really stepped it up and it feels like you're in a proper SUV in here. Compared to other people movers that tend to look a little like a utilities van, this is next level. There are artificial leather seats, but to be honest, until I read that, I didn't even register that they might not be real leather. The steering wheel isn't leather either, but it still feels good. I can confirm the seats are comfortable over a long drive. Sometimes I get a bit of an achy hip when I do long distances in cars, but this has a 12-way power adjustable seat for the driver, so all good. There is a 12.3-inch multimedia screen that connects with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto via a USB cord. It actually works seamlessly, which I found isn't always the case with CarPlay and Android Auto, but this one works really well. I listened to music via Spotify and navigated with the Maps app. You can also connect 2 phones via Bluetooth with this car, and it's got 7 USB ports throughout the car. The center console is well designed, and especially if you compare it to other vans, some of which don't even have a center console, this looks really good. There are some high gloss accents and it definitely feels like you're more in a car. It compares more to Hyundai's new Palisade than it does to other vans. While the Kia Carnival has inched closer and closer to an SUV, the Volkswagen Multivan is sticking it out and holding on to its van roots. And I think the bit that most bothers me about that is the lack of center console here. So it's just a wide, empty space. There is no storage here. There is nothing to rest your bag on. It just feels a bit wasted. Okay, if we put that aside, the rest of the features are fine on their own. It's the base model, so you'll get fabric seats and they are smooth and comfortable to sit on. The steering wheel feels good. It is quite large and bus-like, but you still do get a very slight flat shape here, which does make it feel a little bit more premium. There are man-made finishes on the dash, but it still looks good. So for storage, it has cleverly used spots on the dash because there is no center console here for storage. So you get a cup holder here for the passenger. There is also a cup holder on the dash. There's one up here for the driver, and you'll also get really large bottle holders and storage in the doors, plus extra shelving. So there's an extra shelf here for the driver. There's an extra shelf here for the passenger, 2 actually. And it has used itself quite cleverly so that you do have enough storage. There's also 2 flat-ish storage areas here, and they are good for tablets, or you can pop your phone in there. Don't forget anything in there. You'll get an 8-inch multimedia screen which has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and it instantly connects you to the main apps on your phone, so you can navigate with your Maps app and use your streaming app to listen to music or books while you're driving. It's really easy technology.
So as far as design goes, if you like the retro coolness of the Multivan, that's going to be the one for you. But the Carnival wins with a fresh, modern shape that's less like a van and more plush interiors that make it feel like a proper car, not just like a van on wheels. The main reason people are looking for people movers and vans is for the space. So let's open up both and see how big they are on the inside.
Space is so good in the front seats. It is extremely wide. There is loads of room for legs and headspace, even with the sunroofs in here. It just feels like a living room. There's a Bose sound system in here, so you can turn your music up and have a good sing along in the car, which we definitely did on the way down. It's also got some atmospheric background noise, so you can have calm ocean waves, rainy day, open air cafe, a warm fireplace, and a snowy village. Who doesn't want atmosphere while they're driving? There is so much room in this car. Let me take you through. Firstly, the doors open with a button on the keys, which my kids just thought was insanely good. They love doing it themselves. Secondly, you can pretty much, well, they can walk in here standing up. They're age 7 and 9. It's like a room that they can kind of get changed in and stuff. It's like having a little house on wheels, which is very handy. It's got a much lower floor than SUVs, including the Hyundai Palisade, so it just feels a lot more spacious. The second row slides forwards, first of all to give more space to back row passengers if you need it, and also to let those passengers into the car. All 6 seats in here are actually really comfortable. We had 2 kids in here and 2 kids in there, no complaints at all. The middle row gets 2 cup holders in this center console. There are air vents on the roof and their own climate control back here. It's quite breezy all the way through. Back row passengers get 2 cup holders each, plus the 2 when this bit slides forward. You've also got directional air vents in here so it doesn't feel stuffy, but note the windows do not open. I can sit properly forward with my knees facing the front. I'm 161 centimetres or 5'3". If you need more room, because the headspace is quite tight even for me, you can actually push the middle row forward. The boot is so deep. You can stack loads of things on top of each other. It's got a very deep floor. With the third row in use, there is a huge 1,139 litres of space. So you could fit a pram standing up. As you can see, we've got suitcases in there standing up. With the third row down, it jumps to a whopping 2,461 litres of space. You can pretty much fit anything you like in there.
Here's how roomy the Volkswagen Multivan's interior is.
Space is huge in the front here, and it really does feel like you're driving a living room around on wheels. And I know I just told you that I really didn't like this empty space here, but as my daughter said when she walked from the back to the front, "Mummy, it's got a hallway." And indeed it does. They've done away with the bench seat and replaced the bench seat here with 2 lounge chairs that are super comfortable and spacious. The second row can turn around and face the back, and the whole interior is customizable depending on how you want to use it. Strangely, there are no cup holders back here, which is odd because it just feels quite empty and large and it feels like it needs cup holders. You will get your own air vents on top of your seat, and you can control the amount of air that comes out. There are also no power windows in the back. They open like an old school van. Space is really good in the third row, and you will be able to fit 3 adults back here, so it's very generous room. You also get a tray on the bottom of the seat in front of you, in case you want to stash anything. The actual boot space is not huge unless you push the whole third row forward, which we have already done to show you what the boot space can look like once the third row is forward. The third row only needs to be forward if you've got someone with really long legs in the third row. You can fit suitcases back here. You'll be able to fit a double pram. It's obviously very high, so you can stack things on top of each other. It is huge. The tailgate, you really need to use this. It's very heavy to pull down, and you also need a wide berth behind you when you're parking to do the groceries. Otherwise you'll hit the wall.
So while the Kia Carnival seats 8 and is very spacious and comfortable, the Volkswagen Multivan has even more room to use, both as a passenger vehicle and if you're looking to transport things around. It's positively enormous inside and wins this category, even though it does only have 7 sets of seatbelts. How do the two cars drive? Well, the Carnival we tested is a petrol engine and the Multivan is a diesel, so you already know that the Multivan is going to be louder, but apart from that, how do they fare on the road?
It's the driving that steals the show in the Kia Carnival Platinum. It drives much like a good SUV with a very smooth drive. It's got a powerful engine. This one is the petrol version, so there's a 3.5 litre 6-cylinder engine. There is also a diesel engine on offer for an extra $2,000 if you'd prefer diesel. It feels so great to drive on the open road. There's no shaking, there's no loose feeling. It handles really well. You feel confident overtaking. And to be honest, it just feels a lot more solid than people movers have for me in the past, and even some SUVs. This car actually drives a lot better. The steering is easy to turn. It's not too heavy on takeoff, and I really enjoyed driving it for the 3 hours there and back to our long weekend away. Fuel consumption is a claimed 9.6 litres per 100 Ks, and I averaged 8 litres per 100 Ks. That was doing mostly highway driving. Parking is not too bad in the Kia Carnival either, given the size. It is extra long and it can stick out of some car parks, just so you're aware, lengthways. The steering is so easy to turn though, and there is a really great reverse parking camera that also has a 360-degree view, and that gives you that top view, so it's quite good to manoeuvre into a park.
And how does the Multivan perform on the road?
Driving in the Multivan is a really fun, bouncy time. It's got a 2-litre, quite a loud diesel engine. It makes it feel a little bit like a small truck, but it gets up hills perfectly fine. And I had a good time driving around doing the school run and after school activities. Well, it's not exactly what I would call smooth. It is much more nimble than you'd expect, and I think that's because it has no front end. So you're seated right at the front of the car. So when you are turning, it turns instantly, which just makes it much easier to drive around than you'd think of a car of this size would be. And there is an all-wheel drive option for an extra $3,000 if that's what you're after. The official combined fuel figure is 6.6 litres per 100 Ks, and I did an average of 7.2 litres per 100 Ks this week.
The Carnival scores more points in the driving section purely because it feels like a very smooth drive and handles more like an SUV than a van, while the Multivan still has that bouncy van feeling, even though it is a lot easier to drive than you think it's going to be. Let's move into safety. This is one area that vans have slightly lacked on in previous years, purely because they were more like delivery vehicles. But the latest people movers have improved greatly on the safety. First up is the Carnival.
Safety is paramount for me as a mum, and especially when I'm driving other people's kids around for a long drive. It's something that's always in the back of your mind. But the Kia Carnival, even though it's yet to be assessed by ANCAP, it appears to fit the bill. For advanced safety, there is blind spot monitoring and lane keep assist, which will literally turn the wheel for you around corners. And that takes some getting used to. To be honest, I'm not quite sure that I like it all that much yet. Maybe I'll get used to it at some point in the future. For other advanced safety, there's auto emergency braking with pedestrian, cyclist and junction protection, rear cross traffic alert and smart cruise control. You will get ISOFIX points on 5 of those 6 back seats and top tether points on 5 of the 6 back seats, which is an improvement over the last model, and it really makes it a family car. There are airbags for driver and front passenger and side curtain airbags that extend all the way to the 3rd row.
Being more of a van, does the Multivan have as much going on safety-wise?
How safe is this van compared to an SUV? Well, the Multivan has city auto emergency braking, rear cross traffic alert, blind spot monitoring and lane keep assist. There are airbags throughout, including side curtain airbags that extend all the way to the back row, and every seat in the back, so all 5 seats, have ISOFIX points and top tether points so kids can travel safely.
So both cars have good safety with advanced safety features and the all-important airbags and child safety equipment you'd need for family driving. The Carnival scored a maximum 5 ANCAP stars when it was tested in 2021, but the Multivan has not yet been ANCAP tested. What's the warranty like on these people movers? The Kia Carnival is covered by Kia's benchmark 7-year, 150,000 km warranty, while the Multivan has Volkswagen's 5-year unlimited km warranty. Both require servicing every 12 months or 15,000 Ks. So there you have it, 2 great people movers, both similar prices but very different cars. Which one came out on top? While the latest version of the Multivan has certainly come a long way from previous versions in areas of safety and driving, it has still kept its van-like history and retro cool very much front and center to its offering. The Kia Carnival is edging so much away from a van towards an SUV without losing its core people mover values. It's hard to go past the comfortable, stylish interiors, smooth driving and better handling while driving, particularly for a family. And that's why it is our winner today in the battle of the family people movers.